Hello and hello and welcome to the poster session for the second day of SeptembRSE. So for this poster session, what we're going to be doing is basically showing some lightning talks for some of the posters that we have. Then we're going to have some little sponsor talks, and then also we're going to talk about the discussion posters and the extra special posters that we have in this session. We don't think this is going to take too long because we really want to give you time to go and basically explore all of the posters. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the lightning talks. I'm just going to switch over to those now.
Hello, I'm Steve Thompson, and I'm here today to talk about the psychic surgery libraries and give you an update on recent progress in them. Development of the psychic surgery libraries is funded by the Wellcome Trust and the EPSRC with a goal to create a set of open source libraries that can be used to underpin research and clinical translation for image-guided surgery. For the past 18 months, it's been challenging because we haven't been able to get directly into theatre and work directly with surgeons. However, we've been quite productive, and we'll go over some of the things we've done today. We've developed ongoing clinical applications for image-guided liver surgery, image-guided skull-based surgery. Most recently, we've been doing one for orthopedic surgery and shoulder reconstruction surgery. We've been able to use psychic surgery extensively for delivery of remote education and also to perform research into registration methods for neurosurgery. We've deliberately tried to avoid creating the single large library. In academia, it's important that sustainable software is small, so it can be owned and maintained by a single researcher. The strategy has been successful. We have around 40 libraries and we have engagement with researchers around the world. However, as a result, our code base is quite fragmented, so it's going to be very interesting working out how we maintain it in the future. We're now in the process of reflecting on what we've done, trying to measure our success and looking at what impact we've had. We'll address some of these things in our poster, along with possibilities for future work. The poster is intended to be a work in progress, which we're going to keep on adding to over the course of SeptembRSE, and to which you can contribute. So please follow the link to the poster and please get in touch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for. Always forget the echo because I have two things going. Thanks for that first lightning talk. I'm now going to move on to a lightning talk from Rich Pitts at Oracle.
Hello, I'm delighted to be here with you today, just to give you a quick overview of what Oracle for Research have planned at the conference. So the obligatory slides for this, and let me switch, share my screen, start the share. So I was lucky enough with Mike Riley to present a paper on resource descriptive frameworks within the Oracle database, looking at drug anomaly detection. That was back in September 2019, the last get together, I think. We were alongside Matt Williams, who was talking about cluster in the cloud. Matt is doing another talk about the cluster later this month. I strongly recommend you go and listen to what Matt has to say. Oracle for Research projects are using this software at the moment. It's fantastic. So really pleased to be alongside Matt again. Anyway, so from that, this February, Mike and I joined Oracle for Research, which is part of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure team, development team. I'm the research advocate, and Mike is the technical lead in Oracle for Research. Our objectives are very similar to what the society is trying to achieve. I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. Since we started in February, we have spun up lots of projects across Europe. These are just a few examples, and I'm delighted that one of them will be actually presenting here later in the month. We work in a whole range of projects, from working with Bristol University. We're very proud that we also are not just interested in the heavyweight computing of science, but hard science, if you like. But we also have lots of projects around the digital humanities. So if you're a researcher working in that space, then we also are very keen to talk to you about how we might be able to help. We have a grant program, and my primary objective of coming to the conference today was to explain and talk to people about how you can get a support grant from Oracle for Research. We don't just give you the access to the cloud, we also have, as you heard, Mike here as my technical lead. And the project, if you work with us, we do an extensive marketing and explanation of what you're doing. But the key thing is any of your research and any of your IP, we don't just work with researchers in universities, we also work with startups. All your IP remains yours. As I said, we're very keen on supporting what RSE is doing, and we are very much aligned with a lot of the things and initiatives you're trying to achieve, and we will be here to support the society as much as possible. So what are we going to do at the conference? Well, come and meet us. We have our stand, virtual stand set up, and my real life assistant, if you look on my Twitter, Rich Pitts, you'll see Betty for real. She's there to help on the stand. We're looking forward to some great posters, and very proud to be able to sponsor both the posters, and we've given you a bit of a hint on one of the coins in the conference center on the screen there. So do have a go at the treasure hunt. Our main talk, which will be later in the month, is from our Milan project at Politico University in Milan, taking the ninja out of GPUs, which is a really fascinating study of how to optimize with a new Python library around, well, a new library, it can use Python and other tools as well, taking the complexity out of GPUs. So we're really here to explore collaboration. If you have a project that you think might be interesting on Oracle Cloud, we'd love to hear about it. So do come and see us, or come and find me. Or if you just want to drop me an email, Betty will give you my email address. So see you later. Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Rich, and to Oracle for providing that lightning talk. So I'm now going to pass across to Kristen, who's going to give a talk on behalf of Elsa's Flight.
Hi guys, good morning. I am live, so we get to have all the fun of hoping everything goes well. I'd also like to let you know that my co-presenter, my cat Bing, may be a part of this presentation. So I hope you guys enjoy. So let me go to share my screen. You guys can see the screen. I will now bring up my slides and I will play. Whoops, play from the start. So again, good morning to you guys all. And my short talk is actually about Elsa's Flight and how we work with the RSEs in HPC. So many of you guys probably want to know, who is Elsa's Flight? Well, we're actually HPC integrators, and what we do is we specialize in building, managing, and growing HPC services for our customers. The three things about Elsa's Flight that you should know is that we are customer advocates. So basically, we build the solutions that are right for the customers. We are known for being platform agnostic, both on premises and with any cloud providers. We're community focused, which is why we're part of the RSE community, both as volunteers and sponsors. And we're very process driven, which probably aligns very well to the RSE community, as we are always looking to build better and build in ways that make things easier for people to use solutions going forward. So why are we even here at SeptembRSE? Well, primarily because the RSE community and the integration community pretty much complement each other. Both of us deal with the individuals at a leadership, researcher, or departmental level, so we have to often suss out requirements. The RSE community more at the user level, whereas the integrator more at the larger scale implementation level. We also need to all come up with practical technical solutions. So working together is actually in our benefit so that we can make solutions last longer, services be able to transition as a project grows, shrinks, or even needs to go onto a new platform. And we all need to keep eye on the future, making sure that whatever we build has a tendency to last. So when we help RSCs grow is by working with you guys to manage any resources that you may have available, help you to establish the technical process and be able to work through things on a project base or a persistent base, and also to help you automate the services that you provide your users. So we are here today and actually this month to do two things. Number one is that we actually have an upcoming panel on the RSE in HPCA AI and ML. That one's taking place on September 23rd from 11 a.m. Currently, I am hoping to secure one more panelist from HPC and Humanities, which is a very interesting field and very new to the world of HPC AI and ML. But we've got wonderful guests from Exeter, UCL, and Red Oak Consulting, as well as myself. Also coming up, I'm hoping to have more information soon, is the University, UCL, is looking to do a joint event so that we can actually talk about things after the panel itself, take that conversation further. So I'm looking forward to those details. And we're also sponsoring, we do have a booth. I'm very proud of my little 8-bit moose that I drew. You can win a plush moose by visiting our booth, taking a short survey, and we are raffling on 3 each week because we have 3 different colors. So I figured that would be fair. And yes, if you don't win the first week, it will roll over to the second week. So nobody just gets deleted and started over again. Right, guys, well, that's all I've got to say. So thank you so much for attending my short lightning talk and have a great SeptembRSE.
Well, thank you very much, Kristen. And Kristen's 8-bit muse. Kristen actually did most of the graphics and the 8-bit graphics around the conference center. And so we should all, like as a community, say thank you to Kristen for her wonderful design and artwork.
You're welcome, guys.
So I'm going to hand over now. One thing I forgot to say. So those were the lightning talks from the sponsor booths and from the main submitted posters. These lightning talks are completely voluntary from those poster and sponsor booth presenters. So, you know, if they haven't presented, that's no problem at all. Please do still go and have a look at their posters. But if you do want to present, then get in touch with me and send me a video and I'll make sure you're basically presenting at the next lightning talk, which will be happening next week. We do one of these per week, just in case we have people who've been on holiday, who've not been able to attend everything. Okay, so next I'm going to move on to James, who's going to tell us about our discussion posters.
Hi, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. So I thought first I would just introduce myself. So I'm James Womack. I'm at RSE at the University of Bristol. And with Kristen, who you just met, I've been working on the discussions and panels team of the organizing committee. So what are discussion boards? So we had a lot of really great discussion topics submitted to us when we had the vote for which discussion topics we'd like discussed, and we didn't want to just throw those away. So we decided we would use some poster boards as a place for free discussion on certain topics. So what we have is some of those topics that are not actually being discussed in discussion sessions, but were great suggestions, are now actually boards where you can freely add content to them. So what I wanted to just briefly do was to start off, just show you how to get to the discussion boards. I'm not sure if that's going to work. And then I'll just run through each discussion boards, talk about the title and what's going on them. So now we're going to see whether this actually works. Just going to find my screen. Here we go. Hopefully you can now see me in SeptembRSE in the conference center. So the discussion boards are numbered P1010 to P1014. I'm just gonna, so you just interact with them like a normal poster. You go up to the poster, press X, and it should take you to, providing this works, should take you to a poster board. So here we are. So we've got this poster board is what I would have told my younger self. And if you're logged into Google on your browser, it'll log you in there. If you're not logged in, you'll just appear anonymously. You can contribute anonymously if you like. What I found useful was that you can star the poster board. So if you're logged into Google and you star it, you can then access it via your Google account, which makes the window a bit bigger and you're not so restricted. So what I'm going to do now is just go through each of the poster boards. So the first poster board we have is #TeamRSE. How can we build and manage effective RSE teams? And as you can see, there are a few different comments that have been added. So someone said, building potential paths of progression to showcase the kind of work an RSE can aspire to do as they move up their role. There's a comment about using project management tools to enable oversight, and so widely advertising examples of the kind of work we do so people are aware of what we're doing. We've also got a poster board on imposter syndrome as an RSE. This is a topic close to my heart because I spent a lot of time as a postdoc in a group doing RSE work and feeling like I was neither really a researcher or a software engineer. And actually this comment here was from me, full disclosure, being faced with competing pressures of having to publish often and build your academic profile, but also wanting to build high quality software. And I found these were often competing and made me feel like I wasn't really doing either particularly well. There's a comment here about how conferences like SeptembRSE can help mitigate imposter syndrome. I totally agree. And someone has made a comment about coming from industry, imposter syndrome can be the feeling that you're not enough of a researcher. Presumably you have the software engineering background, but you don't necessarily feel that you have that research background. But as we all know, the RSE community is lovely and very inclusive. So hopefully that person doesn't feel too much of an imposter now. So moving on to the next poster, we have someone adding something live. This is amazing. So does identifying as a research software engineer dead end an academic career? This is a question I asked myself many times. Someone said, possibly. Difficult to publish a large number of papers if you are working hard developing high quality software. Someone here has mentioned how it depends on how you define academic careers. Is it the traditional path? But a career in academia is more flexible. RSEs are in academia, so a career as an RSE is an academic career. So maybe it's just reframing the idea of a career in academia. And someone, Anonymous Blobfish, thank you for your comment. Depends on what kind of academic career. So they were a postdoc and a lecturer previously, but they decided they enjoy being an RSE more. So yeah, just some thoughts about personal experiences there, which is great. So moving on to the next one. What are good ways to write documentation in research software? So full disclosure again, I made this comment here about diataxis, which Matt Williams pointed the Bristol RSE group to, and it's a really interesting framework for thinking about technical documentation. I'm working on a project right now where we are doing some technical documentation for a piece of software, and it's really helping me think about how to divide that documentation up. Actually last night I had a discussion with somebody, I'm afraid I've forgotten your name, and we added a few comments together. And this was her comment, which is write something however small and importantly keep it up to date. We also had a discussion about how stakeholders, writing technical documentation and involving stakeholders is difficult because often stakeholders aren't familiar with the technical tools like restructured texts that we might want to use to write robust documents like how-tos and tutorials. And there's a comment here about how code itself can help the documentation. So naming is incredibly important, giving functions and objects clear responsibilities. And my favorite, type hinting in Python, just makes Python so much more fun to use. So finally, we come on to what I would have told my younger self, advice to new RSEs on getting started in the field. There's a couple of good pieces of advice here. So the first one is RSE is not about knowing things. It's about knowing how to know. So it's about learning how to learn fast and be adaptable. I think, and certainly I've been guilty of this, feeling like you need to know a lot of stuff. You can put up barriers to yourself applying for things or doing things because you feel like you're not enough of an expert. But the expertise is in learning how to become an expert very quickly and not necessarily being one already. And RSE, and this comment here is about other researchers. So basically giving researchers an understanding of what you're doing as it is about understanding what you're doing yourself. So you need to be able to communicate effectively. And so just a final comment on this poster is that we are running a discussion later on in the conference called RSE 2031, which is a discussion about the next 10 years of RSE. And we are still looking for one discussion participant. And we're looking for someone who would self-identify as an early career RSE. So if you feel that you are early on in your RSE career and you are thinking about your next 10 years and you want to join in the discussion, then please get in touch with the conference email address or ping me or talk to me in Gathertown. I'd be very happy to hear from you. I think that covers pretty much all of the discussion posters. So I am now going to
stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna use your shared screen.
I can bring it back. It's fine. Yep, got it.
Cool. My video's decided to stop working. Joy of things. Thank you very much, James, for that. What I'd like to do, could you go into Gathertown and could you walk across to poster 1015? So we have 2 more posters as well as these discussion posters. And these are our extra sort of posters. 1015 on the right.
Other way.
Other way.
Run little avatar. Yeah, here we go.
There we are. So 1015 is our Coding Confessions poster. So this links up with the Coding Confessions workshop, which will be happening later in the month. And essentially what this poster is about is it's a place for you to anonymously submit your coding confessions. So pretty much, as was given in the talk yesterday, we don't confess to our failures. So, coding confessions is a way for us to anonymously confess to our failures. And hopefully then we can all see that we all make massive mistakes and everything goes wrong all of the time. And we only manage to pull it off at the last minute and make it look like it works. So the Coding Confessions poster, please go there and fill in your confession in the same kind of format as that example confession on the left. So there's lots of spaces. I think, James, if you scroll down on that page, there's lots of spaces for confessions and effectively just put them in and it'll be fine. And then we have another special poster, which is not yet quite up because this is a month-long conference. And 1016 is going to be a poster which is for the regional RSE groups. So on this poster, there will be a map of the UK. And the aim of this poster is basically for us to try and work out what are the regional RSE groups. So what would you identify as being, what's the Southwest, what's the North, what's London, etc. And it enables you to basically self-identify your area into a particular region, which will then be used as the sort of the starting point for the regional SIG talk, workshop or panel, one of the 3, which will be happening again later this month. See, James has got this right. So with that, we've introduced you to all of the posters. What we'd like you to do now is basically enjoy going up to them and exploring them. Walk up to the discussion posters and you'll be able to talk to everybody who's around that discussion poster and have a live discussion and try and capture some of that. Have a look at the sponsor booths, have a look at the posters which are up, try and win a plush moose. That would be a cool thing to do today, something to put on like today's achievements list. So thank you very much for coming to the lightning talk session. Enjoy the networking and we'll see you this afternoon when we do the presentation session where we have 2 walkthroughs and a talk. But thank you very much. Goodbye.